Hello, welcome to Oikos Live episode 49, and thank you for joining me. You probably have noticed, for those of you who have been following the Oikos Live streaming, you probably noticed that this surroundings looks a bit different. And that is because we're not in our normal location, being at our home, which is in the country, because we came into town. Town is about 30-kilometer drive from our home. I can't say 30 minutes because it all depends what the weather's doing and if you're stuck behind a logging truck or whatever. So sometimes it takes longer. But we came into town today, and here we are sitting in our daughter's home. Her and her husband Bruce are out for the day, and they have kindly said that we can use this home, this place, this location for us to try live streaming. We've done it once before from their home and it worked-ish. Now we're trying something new because where we're live streaming from our home, it's just been problematic. So now we've come into town and we're going to try live stream from town. So let's see how it goes. Let's hope it goes well. But what I wanted to tell you about Oikos Live is that when we reach episode 50, which is next week, and we hope to live stream next week, we hope that we can maybe come here again or into town, or we make a plan to do another live streaming if this setup works with us using this connection that we're this mobile connection we're testing. If it works nicely, then we're hoping that our live streaming is going to change up a little bit in the fact that we hope to grab moments when we can, wherever we can, to do a live Oikos Live episode for you. So we can't actually commit to them being every Wednesday like what they've been for the last year, simply because of technical difficulties and some practical difficulties. But we don't want to stop our Oikos Live because it's so wonderful to be able to sit and talk to people, moms, parents, whoever, wherever they are. We want to be able to connect with you, and we think it's such a privilege, and it is just the most incredible, wonderful opportunity to be able to have this technology to be able to connect with you. So we're going to keep trying, and we hope that it just gets better and better. But we don't want to just stop our Oikos Live streaming, and so we're going to keep trying. And that is the end of the story, because I could just go on and on and on about this Oikos Live. So I must just stop because it's quite a big topic, and it's been 18 months of really trying, and we're just going to keep going at it. And so what I will do on the next episode, it will probably be the end of a certain kind of way of doing Oikos Live. Excuse me, I've got a little tickle at my throat, and so it's time for me to have a little sip of my cold brew coffee. This might look like Coke, but it's cold brew coffee. Got a little tickle. Excuse me. I don't know if you know about cold brew coffee, but we make our cold brew coffee here. It is so delicious. You can take the coffee bean and you can prepare it in 5 different ways. And that same coffee bean, let's say we're using, what's an example of a coffee bean, Jamie? Indonesian coffee bean. Let's say we're using that. And we can roast it, say do a medium roast, and we can then prepare it for a cup of coffee in a whole variety of ways. And that same Indonesian coffee bean will taste different with every different type of preparation. My favorite flavor of all is when we've done it with cold brew. And then basically it's just a cold extraction from the coffee bean. And I just love it. It's so, so, so tasty. So I'm just going to have another sip of my cold brew. It's very, very good with blocks of ice, but my ice is melted. It's actually quite a warm autumn day here in South Africa. And so that is a little distraction with the coffee, but it's not that much of a distraction because we like you to have a nice hot beverage or cold beverage or some sort of beverage that you can share with me while I sit and chat to you. on our Oikos Live. This particular live streaming is going to mostly be about me just giving you some announcements about things, but I'm also here to answer questions. So any of you that happen to be there, thank you again for joining me. And if you've got questions, please ask them. You see, I'm holding my phone here. Now, I've never done this before. I don't know how it's going to go with answering or seeing your questions come in with my phone. So if you are there and you don't even have a specific question, please can you just say hello? Because I want to see how it works with the phone, because we want to try and be mobile with our live streaming, because we would like to be able to share with you things as they happen when they happen, and grab a moment wherever we are to do a live streaming with you. And if we can do it that way and really minimize the technology complexities, well, then that would be first prize. And so we're trying today with the phone story, and we can only see how it works if you interact with us. So please do. Okay. Then the other thing was that I wanted to talk to you today about was the podcast, Oikos Family Podcast. We are on about episode 14 or 15, somewhere around there of that. And those go up live on the Oikos Family Podcast platform once a week. And those are just 10 or 15 or 5, 10, 15, 20, somewhere around there, minutes of just audio. For those of you who are very familiar with podcasts, you will know all about it. I don't need to explain. For those of you who are not, it's just simply me sharing with you through audio only, not through video. But I have had some feedback from those podcasts of moms sharing with me how useful it is to them to be able to just quickly listen to 10 minutes encouragement sharing when they're preparing a meal or driving the car, whatever it might be, so that they don't, because they can't always have the time to sit down and watch a live streaming or be part of live streaming. I'm hoping that this phone matter is going to be, my experience of this, I'm hoping is going to be so easy that I can encourage people even just to join the live streaming, and it'd be easy for them too. Okay, the podcast is now audio only. I've got something else to tell you about audio only, which is just very thrilling to me. I am just so excited to make this announcement. And before I do, I'm going to tell you that I've been waiting about maybe 15 years, probably 15 years, to be able to tell you this. And that is, we are converting the books that we've got on the Oikos store, Oikos online store, the website. The books you can buy there that are a physical book or an ebook, we're going to make them available to you as audiobooks. Now, the reason why I'm so excited about that is because for me to be able to read aloud a book that I've written to share with you, to me, is just, it's a gift. I'm just very, very excited that I can do it, that we've got the technology to do it, that we've got the support to do it. And we have had to learn a huge amount. I mean, I just thought, let's read aloud and make an audiobook. Well, no, not quite. There's been a tremendous learning curve that we've had a little journey we've had to go on to learn all about actually producing an audiobook. But we are going there. We've done it. We've done the first audiobook. I can't tell you where to go for it at this moment because it's right at the end of its process of being produced. I'd say it's about 95% there. That's the little puppies barking in the background. Don't know if you can hear them, but as I mentioned, we're at our daughter's home, and so her little Bostons are not happy with being put outside. They want to come in and sit on my lap. Okay, so the audiobook thing, what I want to say is that when you go to the Oikos website and you just go to any book and the parent helps with the literature, there are just a little heads up there. That's where we're starting. We're going to start with audio, putting the parent help books and the literature books into audiobook, produce them as an audiobook, the ones that we can. And it's a very time-consuming and incredibly slow process. It really takes months to get one book onto the audio, produced as an audiobook. So I'm telling you about it because maybe I should have waited until the book is actually there. But the thing is, we've been doing this for a few months, and I was so excited to let you know that we have produced the first audiobook. I've got a really troublesome little tickle today. I think I'm just going to keep my cold brew nearby. I'll tell you what, while my little tickle settles down, let me see if this is working here. Oh, Em, hello, Em, it's working. Good morning. It's good morning from the States, and it's good afternoon from South Africa. Oh, and Emma's responding to the podcast. You make me very happy, Em, to tell me that you like the podcast, because it is so wonderful to do them. It's like such a privilege. I can't tell you, when I'm sitting there doing the podcast, I'm just thinking about the people that I'm talking to, and I'm thinking about the mom. I'm thinking about that I'm actually sharing something from my heart with moms who are at home educating their children. I just think, what a privilege. It is such an experience to be able to share in that way. It's so humbling, if I can say, that it seems as a miracle to me that I can sit here in South Africa and I can talk to you through this live streaming and through the podcast as well. So it really is a huge blessing. And there's Annalie. Annalie, you are our faithful live stream guest. Thank you. Oh, Annalie likes to put the longer ones on of the podcast and sit back and relax. And the topic about the rabbit trails. Thank you. I'm going to now, thank you, Annalie, for your comments. I'm going to see what happens if I write back here. I'm just going to say, hello, ladies. Then, see what happens. Sure. You know, Em, you're just saying that you listen to the podcasts while doing dishes. I'm going to tell my mother that story, because she used to say to me that when you do dishes, you must never ever be grumpy about doing dishes. You must be thankful, and you must sing, and you must rejoice, and you must thank the Lord for the food that you've eaten and that you can feed your family. And she even actually has a little poem. I'm going to have to get that poem. Let's make a note. Jamie, please make a note, because that's just a little too clever for me to make notes. And make a note for me to get the poem that's in the scullery above the kitchen sink about being grateful for the dishes, that the many dishes we have washed. And I'll share that little podcast. I'll share that little poem on the podcast for you. So tell me, ladies, those that have joined me there, how's the live streaming going? I'm wondering if it's coming through nice and crisp and clear and all the things we want it to be doing. And look at this. I'm just actually sitting here chatting to you. I wonder if you can see the background through the window there. I wonder if you can actually see this through the window here and into the garden and the trees. I wonder what you can see from your side and if it's clear. Just trying to see how it's working. That's wonderful, Em. I'm so glad that you do that. You say prayers and you bless while doing dishes. It's such a blessing too. It's such a blessing to others to be able to do that. You see, I'm trying to see who's on the chat and who's joined me today. And Em says it's really crisp live streaming. That is good news. Okay, so it looks like it's working just here from my phone. So now I'm going to go the next step and see if I can be clever and look up. I didn't think about this part, Jamie, that I want to have my notes here, you know, like I've just asked you to do. I didn't think of doing it.
Have your notes on the computer.
So Jamie suggests I open my computer because I don't know if you ladies can see the computer, but I'm just checking now if I have mentioned everything that I wanted to mention with regard just to announcements. And I see I haven't mentioned this one, which is a really important one because it's May, and May means Mother's Day. There's Mother's Day in May. And for the whole month of May, from the 1st to the 31st, we are having a special celebration month here at Oikos. Do you know why? A few reasons. One, May is a very significant month to us. It is Oikos's 30th anniversary year. Somebody said last week, happy birthday, Oikos. In fact, Oikos was birthed probably in 1988, to be more exact and precise. But in 1989 was when our first child was born, which it signifies the actual official starting of Oikos Family Ministries, because now we were with family. Okay, so on the website and all over, you will see that the founding and the birthing and everything of Oikos was 1989, even though the vision and everything came before that. But the official launch of Oikos Family Ministries was 1989, and it's 2019, and so that makes us 30 years old. And it's Mother's Day month, Mother's Day this month. So what we're doing is we thought we would like to share with everybody a gift of some kind, because it's because of you, the moms and the families that are home educating, that we do what we do, because we want to be there to support you and help you with your journey with home educating your children. So we are offering a 10% gift, 10% discount as a gift to everybody that purchases anything on the Oikos online store through the month of May. So if you want to know more about that, you can just go to oikosfamily.co.za and then go onto the store. Even those of you who are not South African, not local, where you can get a physical book, I'm hoping you'll be able to maybe find an ebook or something that will be useful to you, and you can get this Mother's Day gift from it by having the 10% discount on it. Basically, what it is that absolutely everything on our Oikos store is discounted by 10%, including even the items that are on clearance or whatever they might already be discounted, because we might have some items that are already discounted. Some of our damaged items, because we print the books ourselves here. So sometimes something might go a little bit wrong, slightly crooked, cut slightly crooked, or some small defect. And then we don't want to put that on the shelf as perfect, because it's not. And so we put it in what we call our bargain box. And then we put it there at a discounted price. Now, even those books have got a 10% off what their existing discount is. So it's quite nice, actually, because people that can find some things in the bargain box might actually end up getting 30 or 40% discount on the item that they're purchasing. So I'm very excited about that, because that means that this birthday celebration month means that everybody can be getting a gift of some kind. I hope you will find that it's going to support you, and that you will enjoy celebrating with us these 30 years of Oikos having been established from when it was first established. Okay, and we just trust that there'll be another 30 years ahead of us, and it's just going to get better and better and better with what we have to support and serve and offer you. And of course, I am very excited that there's this development in this month of us being able to offer you the first audiobook that Oikos has produced. Basically, what I've done is, we've got some books that I've authored myself for our daughter, my mother even. So the first one I did, because it's Mother's Day month, the first audiobook that I did was Letters from Granny Oikos. Now, that's my mother. And she has such pearls of wisdom to share with us that I have read her book aloud. It's a book she wrote, letters that she wrote to me, and then I put them into a little publication. And then we've had that available on the website. A very small little booklet. Letters from Granny Oikos in a physical book form, and in an ebook form, and now an audiobook. But we just got to wait that last 5%, because the audiobook part of it it's gone all through the channels, but now we're just waiting for it to have its final little launch. If you want to know when that is, we'll probably put some sort of announcement on the website when the first audiobook goes live. I'm not sure. We're not there yet. So when we know how to let you know that audiobook is live, we will do so. Perhaps at the next live streaming, perhaps on a podcast. Somehow we'll let you know that audiobook is ready. And when it is, what I would like you to do in this month of May is really go and listen to that, because I've read it aloud for you. And the reason why I really want you to listen to it is because reading it aloud actually blessed me so much, because I was reading my mother's words aloud. And I just, every line, everything I'm reading, I'm thinking, oh, this is such a blessing. This is so amazing. I'm so grateful that we've got this treasure that I could now read aloud and share with all those moms through the means of this digital technology. It's amazing. But by the way, to do this audiobook, we had to put the book onto Amazon as an ebook. Correct, Jamie? And so if you go to Amazon.com and put in the search field letters from Granny Oikos, there's letters from and not letters by, hey? Mm-hmm. Letters from Granny Oikos. If you put that in the field in the Amazon search engine, it's going to pop up there. You're going to see letters from Granny Oikos. You're going to see a nice little post box with some daisies coming out. That's Missy's artwork. Missy, our daughter. She did the artwork for the cover of that book. And we have to create an audiobook, we have to make an ebook that goes onto Amazon, and then Amazon, and then we've got to upload it to the audiobook side, and then they've got to it's got to go through all the digital specs, checks, things to make sure that everything's perfect. They can't have a dog barking in the background, or a siren going, or an aeroplane going overhead, or a cricket chirping. All those things are not allowed when you're making an audiobook. It's got to be clean sound. And so it's got to go through all those checks. And then when it's passed all those checks, it goes to all different platforms where you can get this audiobook. Is that right, Jamie? Give me some ideas. It can on Apple, Audible, iTunes, Audiobooks.com, Nook, Kindle. Okay, he's just rolling off some of the names. How would if somebody just wants to go search for an audiobook, an Oikos audiobook, one of our audiobooks, just like anywhere, would they be able to just go and Google and put audiobook letters from Granny Oikos? Try that, see what happens.
It's not available yet anyway, so
yeah, this is all a little premature. You see, I'm jumping ahead of myself because I'm a bit too excited about this audiobook thing. Basically, I wanted to tell you today that it was ready, and so we checked last night and they said not just yet, but soon. And so I'm hoping at the next live stream I'm going to say to you, yay, and actually send you the links and everything to let you know that it is actually now live. But I did want to tell you on the 1st of May about this audiobook development, because to me it's so significant that it's our 30th anniversary and we're developing this new thing, and all of those good reasons. I'm just feeling like it's going to be a tool, a treasure, actually, that is a means to be able to share with you something that is currently unavailable to you. So let's call that development. Let's call that adding an extra service and support to you in this journey. And that's what it's all about. So that's why I wanted to say, let's hope there's another 30 years that we've got to look forward to and bringing you more and more support for your home educating journey. Okay, so that is what I wanted to tell you about, is the 10% sale. And now I'm going to go back to the live streaming and have a look. Oh, okay. Annalise says it looks amazing behind us, Jamie. Emma says, what is behind? I'll tell you what's behind us. Behind me is our daughter's garden. Can I call it the garden? Basically, we are in town. And this is her lounge that I'm sitting in, our daughter Missy and her husband Bruce. This is their home. And I'm sitting on their couch. And behind me is the view from their lounge window. So you look out into their garden and beyond, the view beyond as well. And the little town we're sitting in is called Howick. So if you want to go do a Google search on that, you can. It's in KZN, which stands for KwaZulu-Natal, in the Midlands area. So it's inland from Durban. The main city on the coast is Durban. Then the next city is Pietermaritzburg, and then Howick is like one of the suburbs of the next city that's inland from the coast. So the coast, Durban, inland, Pietermaritzburg, and then there's suburbs that go further north from the city of Pietermaritzburg. And one of the little suburbs is called Howick, and that's where we are. And this is the town that we frequent, when we used to do posting every week. Now we do courier service. So we in, and this is where our post office and our bank and our grocery store and the pharmacy and all those things. I think the Americans call it the drugstore, which we actually found quite funny. That you call it a drugstore. It sounds bad to us, but we call it a pharmacy, or the chemist. Some people say pharmacy and other people say chemist, but we certainly don't say drugstore. That it's just not right to say drugstore here in South Africa. But it's completely normal and common, and how it's said and acceptable in the States. We've been having a little chuckle about that recently, of the way we have different words for different things. I'll tell you what's one of the funniest is a vehicle. There are so many words that we use for a vehicle that in other parts of the world that are English speaking, but they use completely different English words. Let me think of some example. We say wipers. I don't know what Americans say. Do you know, Jamie? Do they call them wipers there? I think they call them something else. We call it a hooter, you call it a horn. We call it a boot, you call it a trunk. For us, a trunk is the thing on the front of an elephant's face. That's what a trunk is. and an American, a trunk is the boot of the car. And Americans find the fact that we call a boot, the boot for a vehicle, very, very funny. They think it's hilarious that it's called a boot because they think of a boot that you put on your foot. And we think it's hilarious that you call it a trunk because that's something that's attached to an elephant's face. So anyway, I think if you looked at it, if you spend some time on that, it would be quite funny actually, because there's a lot of things. I think we call it an indicator and you call it something else. Do they call it a flicker? We can ask them because they're right there. They'll tell us what they call it. Just think about that. And Em's planning a trip to the zoo. Yay. Annalie says the trunk boot one makes it up. Did you know that we call it a boot? I wonder if, Annalie, if you know that we call the car boot. I was in America quite some time ago, and I asked this young man where we were staying to please take my suitcase to the boot. And he looked at me like, I think he was about, I don't know what age he was. He was a young man, and he just looked very blank, like, what are you saying? So I said it again, I said, if you don't mind, please, can you help me take my suitcases to the boot? Well, in his language, he would have said the luggage to the trunk. But we say our suitcases. I think we said suitcases to the boot. Anyway, we've had some good laughs over that. Oh, yes, you did know. We're planning a trip to the zoo. Annalie, it is incredibly beautiful. Oh, you've got to go and see zebras and lions in a zoo. Oh, well, as you say, it's better than, at least you can see them for real. Okay, Annalie, this is just the little town. I mean, I know where you live is beautiful. You've shown me some photos, and you get lots of snow, and we don't get snow. We do get snow once every 4 or 5 years, actually, but, it comes fleetingly for a couple of days, and then that's all our snow for the next few years. But it's very exciting when it happens. But we're hoping with this live streaming that we're doing, the way we're doing it now, we hope that we'll be able to go in the garden or down to the lake or wherever. We're trying to get mobile, and that's why we're testing it with the phone. And the next trick is to see how long the battery can last on all of this stuff, the camera and the lights and all those things. But anyway, we hope that we'll be able to share with you more of where we stay and share the beauty, because it is magnificently beautiful, and so we would love to share that. You know what I can't see here, Jamie, is I don't know the time, and I don't know how much time we've been live streaming. That's one thing I can't see very easily here, but never mind, we'll move on from that. And when are you going to the zoo, Annalie? And you dream of coming to visit with my family? Well, you're welcome, so come visit with your family. You are very welcome. Make a big adventure, have a big adventure to South Africa. Phew, I can imagine that would be extremely costly. But at least once you're here, you know that you have accommodation and you don't have to factor that into the extreme expenses. But I imagine a large family in the airfares, I don't know what that would cost. But anyway, you're welcome to come and visit us. You are our faithful live streaming guest. I don't think you've missed one. Oh, yes, you did miss that one when you had that tragedy. And M, let me not leave you out. You're also a faithful live streaming guest, so thank you, M, for being there. It looks to me like this is working, Jamie. It's working, isn't it? Okay, so what I'm going to do is we've done all this test. We've had this, I've made the announcement. Very, very lovely to be with you and to see that this is actually working here in our daughter's home, which means we can venture out a little bit. Maybe next live stream we will be outdoors. You see, outdoors is tricky though, because it's extremely dependent on weather. You can't take cameras and lights outside if it's, pouring with rain or hail or storms or those things. And that's not uncommon here to have very unusual weather. It's a pleasure, Em. It's absolute pleasure to do this. She's saying thank you for doing this. Thank you for being there. That's what I want to say. It is such a pleasure. I just feel it's such a huge privilege to be able to talk to you in America today. I just think it's incredible, extraordinary. I can't find the adjectives enough to explain how amazed I am that we can do this, that I'm sitting here in our daughter's home and I can talk to you there in America. And it's current, it's happening right now at this moment. It still amazes me. I think it's a miracle. But I suppose it's just going to be common and normal to people going forward. Okay. So I'm going to actually say goodbye to you now. If you want to know anything more about cold brew, you can ask Jamie because he's our coffee king here at home. He'll be able to tell you how you make this. Jamie, can they ask you how to make cold brew? It's a bit complicated. Not on live streaming, but I mean if they email you after. I know you can't answer on live stream.
Google's can tell more than I can.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's a bit hesitant because he doesn't know that he can teach you how to make cold brew because it depends what kit you can get and this and that. So it's probably better for you to go Google that if you're interested in how to do cold brew for coffee. Jamie feels it'd be more helpful to you to be YouTube it or Google it or whatever. Okay, thank you for joining me on today's live streaming. Thank you for joining me with this month of May. I hope that you can be blessed with something that we have to offer you on our online store. And I really appreciate you being part of today's live stream. And I'm looking forward to episode 50. I hope you have a wonderful week. I'm looking forward to speaking to you on the podcast, Oikos Family Podcast. I think you must know where it is by now. But for those who are watching this and don't know where to find that, you can just go to the homepage of the oikosfamily.coza homepage, and there's on the banner there, you just wait for the slider to go past and you'll see podcast and you can click on it and it'll take you to the Oikos Family Podcast and then you can listen to the podcast. Okay, bye-bye ladies. Thank you for joining me today. Appreciate you being there.